You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we're doing our T20 World Cup preview part 1. In this episode, we'll be going through all of the small teams. They're not all associates, but they're all small teams, we think. There'll be 10 teams, lots of chat, lots of fun. And right at the end, we will also be revisiting our IPL predictions. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross Legg?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks, mate. And they might be small teams, Jack, but they've got big hearts. Is from my research. They're here to pack a punch and cause an upset, is my view. And we're all here for the upset. So bring on the Ugandan team, is all I'm saying.
Bring on Uganda. We're also joined by Max Rowe-Brown. Max is currently on mute because someone is installing an air conditioning unit into his neighbour's house in the hot climes of Streatham Hill. How you doing, Max? How's the air conditioning fitting going next door?
Oh well, it's going. I can tell you that it's going. It would be interesting to see how long it goes for. My money would be on exactly as long as it takes us to record this podcast.
Yeah, a weird thing to do. I don't know if your neighbour listens to the podcast, but I just want it to go on record that I think installing an air conditioning unit into your house in Streatham is dumb, really dumb. There's that kind of decision that's causing the climate crisis. If you just want my full thoughts on that.
It's a cycle, isn't it? It gets hotter, then you install air conditioning, then it gets hotter again because you've installed air conditioning, and then where do we end up, Jack?
Exactly. Before we get going, I just want to give a shout out to Manscaped. You can head over to manscaped.com, use the code CricketPod for 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped are the guys who have the best tools for your family jewels. Your little pink boys, as Ross might call them. Ross, have you been using any Manscaped products recently?
Have you not seen my lovely little stubble that I've got going on here? It's a little bit light. So, the Manscaped products continue to impress. And the only thing I haven't got, Jack, is the boxer shorts. You talk like you love the boxer shorts that they've got. But yeah, that's the one thing I don't have. So perhaps I'll put in another order and get those sorted. We are also sponsored by Serious Cricket, aren't we, lads? So if you need any cricket equipment in the UK, go to Serious Cricket, go to their website, via our link in our show notes, and you'll get yourself a little treat.
Yep. 2 sponsors for 2 very different tasks. Just Manscaped again. Use the code CricketPod for 20% off plus free shipping. Right, the T20 World Cup is upon us, as if the world hadn't just experienced 3 months of non-stop T20 cricket. We need some more. And it will be starting on Sunday with the United States v Canada. It's changed a little bit. So just a précis, a little recap of what's happening in the T20 World Cup. It has been expanded. There are now 20 teams. We have also lost the first round of fixtures where all the little teams played each other for a chance to get through to the big boy tournament later on. And I think we're better for that. So this year's, I was going to say seasons, it's kind of a season, isn't it, with these? There's one every year. This season's T20 World Cup will feature 4 groups of 5. Most of the groups have got sort of 2 major nations in and then 3 smaller ones, with a couple of differences here and there. As I said on this podcast, we'll be running through the smaller sides. We're going to be talking about their kits, the players to look out for, their road to the T20 World Cup, and which fast food best represents that team. I like how, in really stereotypical English way, we've been like, oh, cricket tournament in America, what should we compare it to? Or what should we compare the teams to? Yeah, fast food. Ha ha ha!
They put it on
really
themselves.
Funny?
They put it on themselves, mate. I was last year. It was,
we workshopped it a bit, didn't we? And Kate, and it was the best idea we had. So
it was. Yeah. As though though, boys, we don't have at least 5 chicken shops each within a 300-meter radius of our houses. I've
got. That money's not going to launder itself, is it, Jack? That's what we need to be going on.
I've got one that's a chicken shop and an off license in the same building, just at the bottom of my road. I've still not been. I should go. Chicken.
Cool. Also, we're going to structure this. We're going to do regions of the world, I think, aren't we? Are we going to group the regions? Do them all together? So we
Well, that
we've got
would
like Europe.
that would mean
is what I
each of us speaking on our own for an
Okay,
extended
we won't
period
do
of
that.
time.
We're going to jump around. This is what we've done. One of us, you can see that the planning period that we needed to do this podcast wasn't long enough.
That's Jay
We can
Shah's
blame the
fault.
IPL for that.
No one else.
It's less than 24 hours since me and Ross were wrapping up the final of the IPL. Like this is a really quick turnaround. We'll do it. We'll jump around a little bit. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
Let's start with Group A. Let's start with Group A.
Yeah, we'll go.
We'll do it A. We'll do it A.
Get the hosts in, Jack. I think the USA deserve to be put on the mantle
Right.
first.
Okay, right. Team USA. They're going to be playing in a navy blue kit with, I think, United States written on it. It's quite functional, their kit. I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it does clearly describe who they are.
Has it got pockets? Is that why it's functional? Like why is it so functional? It's like overalls.
It is a bit like overalls.
Go gadget extender arms.
Yeah, it's like they look like canteen workers.
Okay, cool.
The USA cafeteria. That's
Nice.
kind of what that's their vibe. They were the hosts, so they automatically qualified. So there's not really a lot to talk about from a road to World Cup point of view, but I suppose there is a little bit of a road to the World Cup for some of the players. Now, a lot of people will know this. Team USA has been sort of scouring the world for anyone that they can bring into their orbit to set up a team that's kind of competitive for this tournament. So players like Corey Anderson, who's played a bunch of test matches for New Zealand, he's been brought in. I think he married someone from Dallas. He's been living over there for a little while and qualified a couple of months ago. So has played maybe 6 or 7 T20s for the USA recently against Bangladesh, where he was doing quite well, I think. Nitish Kumar, you'll like this one, Ross. He was Canada's captain.
That's true, and that's nice. They've taken a lesson from the English there, haven't they? Really?
Yes.
That's what they've really done.
That's exactly what they've done. Basically, Team USA has worked out already that one of the most important things about international cricket is that if your team isn't very good, go and find some foreigners from elsewhere. It works for England. It works for New Zealand. Australia have got a little bit of track record doing that themselves.
Canada might not be the first place I'd look, to be fair.
No,
Max, if I'm perfectly honest, but if you can't afford to buy a Ferrari, you're going to the second-hand shop, aren't you? So you're going to go
buy a Ferrari from the second-hand shop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're going to go and do.
So Mohank Patel, he was born in Gujarat and played some state stuff for them as a kid. Harmeet Singh has played in the IPL, played under 19s for India, I believe. Now is obviously with Team USA. Ali Khan, a similar-ish journey, except that he has Pakistani heritage. Netra Volker, who people might remember from Major League Cricket last year, picked up 10 wickets in 6 matches there with an economy below 7.5. He's from India as well. Now, like, I don't want this to be like a rant about how Team USA isn't representing representing the USA, because I think if you actually think about the people who are playing cricket in America, and there are a lot of people, there's 200,000 weekly cricketers in the United States. There's some real hubs that are built up around the cities, and they're building professional level facilities in a number of cities, mainly connected with Major League Cricket, obviously. But if you think about the people who are actually making up the 200,000 recreational players, they probably are like relatively similar in demographic and whatever to the actual USA team. So I'm not like going on a rant.
It's the American dream, isn't it? Ultimately,
it is.
It's a country that is completely built on immigration, right? So I think it shows the diversity of where they live. Yes, it does. There are a couple of states-born people as well. So Stephen Taylor, who opens the batting for them, he got a few runs, not loads, against Bangladesh recently, and bowls a little bit of off-spin. And Aaron Jones, who's from Queens, he'll bat in the top order as well. I don't think he's going to score very quickly, but he's quite an organised cricketer. I think we'll see a few 30 off 30s from Aaron Jones, I reckon, across this World Cup. I'm quite excited. I mean, I don't know about you boys. I'm quite excited to see Team USA in action. Max, are you excited to see Team USA? I don't know why we're calling them Team USA as well, or why I'm doing that.
That's how they brand themselves, isn't it? They've already got the first job done in sporting context. The Americans, because it's all about Team USA. That's how the Olympics, the football's the soccer side. So it's already ingrained into your brain. So that's step one done. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got. I think Corey Anderson playing for them is absolutely hilarious. It's like I genuinely love that. But no, it's with the Major League Cricket and hearing we've heard some of these names, right? That playing for some of the Major League Cricket sides, and going to be interested to see how they go in a home World Cup. I'm also very interested to see what some of the stadia and some of the pitches end up being like.
I think they'll be all right. I mean, like there's they might not be the best pitches of all time, but there is like a level of infrastructure that is being built. Like the 200,000 people playing cricket every week is not a trivial number. And I know the USA is big and it will be very uneven where that's being played. There'll be like random hubs. I think Nashville is one of the places where there's loads of cricket, for example. But they've got like a developed cricket academy in Texas, which I think is where most of the national team live and obviously work. And one of the venues is connected to that. I think it's a $20 million US redevelopment of the minor league baseball stadium there. I'll be interested to see what happens in New York with the pop-up stadium there, but it looks like they built it. We'll see whether the pitch is any good. And I think in general they'll probably pull it off. Like, quite a lot of money is being poured at this. Like, it actually appears to be relatively well organised, considering how cricket is normally organised. Now, and the
infighting, right, from Team USA over the last few years has been a bit of the Wild West, if I think we're being perfectly honest.
Well, look, that has happened. I'm not saying that the Team USA are unblemished here, but I think the tournament itself, the USA leg of that, kind of will be fine. I expect them to pull that off. And if they don't, it will be really funny. The team itself, I think it's probably fair to say they're not going to win the World Cup. I don't think that's that's controversial, but I do think they'll be competent. I think their tactic of sort of bringing in some outside recruits will pay dividends. They put away Canada 4-0 in a series pretty recently. They play Canada in the opening game, so they're probably fairly big favourites for that. Then they have obviously got India, Pakistan, and Ireland in the group as well, and there'll be tougher tests. Now they have actually beaten Ireland before, so it's not inconceivable at home with a better team, to be honest, than 3 years ago when they did beat the Irish. That they could do that again. And weird stuff happens in T20 cricket. Like if it does turn out that the pitches are awful, then maybe they, can turn over someone else. I think the odds of that are really, really long, to be honest. But I think they'll be fun.
They beat Bangladesh the other day, didn't they? In a warm up.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've attained a level of competence that rapidly that I think will surprise some people. And I think they'll be good hosts. Americans are very nice, aren't they? Dropping that.
Very welcoming with their guns. Very welcoming.
All right, that's nice. Thanks, Ross. What fast food are they? Well, I don't know. I mean, they are Team USA, so let's say they're bourbon sticky ribs, something like that.
All right, you've gone for a food. You've gone for like a food stuff.
Oh, you've gone for a brand. Yeah,
I was thinking brand.
It's going to be a bit avant-garde, isn't it?
No, that's fine.
It's going to be a bit all over the place. Who would like to go next? That's Team USA. Previewed.
I'll take Ireland next, shall I? I mean,
as
a fellow Group A. So Ireland, everyone knows, are going to wear green. They've not actually released their official kit yet, but I'm assuming as they're a bit strapped for cash, it's probably going to be very similar to their last kit, just with 2024 written on it. So you can look forward to seeing one of those. They finished second in the European qualifiers, and it was confirmed that they were going to be at the World Cup when their match against Germany got rained off. So they go through in style, I think it's probably fair to say. Players to look out for. He's big, he's bad, he's Paul Sterling, and he has lit up franchise cricket, I think, fair to say, around the world. And he is their captain, taken over from Andrew Balbirnie. And I think he's performed against some of the best bowlers in the world, which is pretty good. I mean, he is is somebody who I don't know, underestimated, I think, in cricket, and will always get off to a bit of a flyer. Josh Little, who IPL fans will recognise, he's got some IPL experience under his belt. He's performed well in the 100, and offering a left-arm quick option in T20 cricket is no bad thing at all. And they've got a couple of players in kind of Curtis Camphor, Harry Tector, who have got a couple of years under their belts from the last time that we were talking about them. And I think with that experience, they've got quite a rounded squad, I think it's probably fair to say. Watch out for the leg spinner Ben White, who might cause an upset or two if the pitches go one way or the other. But overall, I think they've got quite a decent team here. When it goes for realistic chances at the World Cup, probably in the same category. They're probably not going to win the World Cup, but they seem to love an upset. They've turned over England a couple of times, much to the hilarity of everybody who hates England. And they start their campaign off against India, who can start slowly, right? I think it's probably fair to say they've lost a couple of games early on in tournaments, which has put the boot up their arse. I think it's probably okay to say. So an upset is definitely on the cards. I think this Ireland side are actually going to fancy their chances of making it through. I don't think they're going to be kind of sitting at the bottom of this table. I think they'll likely get the better of USA, likely get the better of Canada, and they'll want to they'll push the likes of Pakistan to perform better than they have done previously. So I'm feeling good for the Irish, if I'm perfectly honest, lads.
I think of the smaller teams, of the 10 that we're going to be talking about today, Ireland are the most likely to be able to get through their group. Because, as you say, Ross, even though the USA have improved and the USA have got some decent players, Ireland should be putting them away 8 out of 10 times. And I don't think they'll have any problems with Canada, based on what I know about Canadian cricket. I will say, I might be the world's foremost expert on Canadian cricket. I spent the whole morning researching Canadian cricket. I think Ireland have got the edge over them. And then they've got to win one of the games v Pakistan or India. They beat Pakistan recently, didn't they? They had a series against them, obviously in not American conditions, whatever they're going to be. So take that maybe with a pinch of salt. But it's not impossible, Max, is it, that Ireland beat Pakistan?
No, not at all. They've got giant killings, I suppose you could still call it that, under their belts. They're a proper cricket side. Actually, there's something about Ireland. Like when you look at the teams that they put out and some of the players they've got in there that are genuinely elite, like you say, Ross, with Paul Sterling and Josh Little, they're top level players. They're like you said, Josh Little, IPL contract, plays in the IPL. That's pretty much as good as it gets when it comes to T20 cricket. I think Paul Sterling probably should have played a bit more than he has. Just in general, he's had a great career in the blast domestically in England, and I kind of almost feel like they've underperformed a bit. There's a level that Ireland, I feel like, could have got when it comes to world tournaments that they've possibly not got there. And I think maybe underperformed would be harsh. Maybe they've performed sort of about their level, but I always feel like there's been a chance for them to do a little bit better, surprise people, overperform a bit, and I've not seen it happen yet.
No.
Apart from the odd win, maybe here or there, like taking down England, for example. But then they'll go and do something silly and lose to Zimbabwe, and maybe this is it. Maybe this year will be the one where they spring a surprise and make it through.
It could happen. I think they're a decent team. I think they'll need it to be their day to pull off that upset, and they'll probably, to be honest, need the upset to come against whoever loses the India v Pakistan game. So if Pakistan lose that, for example, and then Ireland beat them, then Ireland are, they're clear through. Otherwise, if they don't, then I think net run rate will be. I think India and Pakistan are capable of winning by 200 runs against Canada.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ireland are quite that good.
Yeah, and I think that bit you talk about there is the intent actually Ireland have got a bit more intent than some of the other nations as well. I think looking at kind of the strike rates that you see, actually Ireland are pretty aggressive. So yeah, kind of looking forward to seeing what they've got in the locker. When it comes to fast food, there's only one option if you're Ireland. It's fries, isn't it? You take the potato that is loved in the land of the Irish. I've got an Irish passport for those wondering, and you turn it into fries. So that's what they're representing. They're
Not
flying a potato flag. Tater tots, no. I don't think I've ever had those, Max, but each of their own.
You're missing out.
Very good. So I wrap up Group A.
Yeah.
I've got Canada. Right, here's the first thing you need to know about Canada. Good kit, I think. Well, I say good kit.
Yeah, very good kit.
It's a rocking kit. Like what they've done is it's red with a giant kind of maple leaf on the stomach area. And I think that's either going to look brilliant or absolutely ridiculous. They shot for the moon, and we'll see which way it goes. Also, it's not a white maple leaf like the flag. It's kind of like cream, blood and custard vibe that they're going for. Fellas, they came through the qualifiers, booking their place by beating Bermuda in a do or die game. Canada posted 132, which isn't a great score, but they managed to bowl out the Bermudans for 93, which is good. Also put away powerhouses like the Cayman Islands and Panama in that round robin group stage. An interesting thing about this team is their coach, Pabadu Dasanayaka. I think that's right. Do you know why it's interesting?
I do not.
Because he was fired 5 days ago.
Okay.
And then...
Are you Pakistan in disguise?
The evening of him being fired, the Canadian Cricket Board, refused to ratify the decision to fire him, so he was rehired.
Whose decision was it to fire him? Was it the Canadian Cricket Board?
No, the new president, as I understand it, of Canadian cricket was elected. His first action a week before a week before their first international tournament appearance in 21 years was to fire the coach. He didn't.
That's got McKinsey consultancy written all over that, isn't it? You want to come in? You want to come in and make an impact?
Can take us to the next step.
Yeah, you want to come in and make an impact. Heads must roll. What's the biggest head? Head coach.
Head coach. Yeah, but he didn't have the authority.
Yeah, well, that's classic. That is absolute classic. Well, it's not
no
our
authority here,
yeah, the client couldn't implement what we suggested, so it's not our fault, Gov. Classic consulting.
I mean, he's got quite an interesting coaching history in general. Basically, it reads like this: he was hired by Team A. He was sacked by Team A. He was rehired by Team A. Then 3 months later, he resigned from Team A. Team A in this case is usually Nepal, but it has also been the USA, and now it's Canada. Like this is what this guy's career is like. It's hire and refire. It's I don't know. It's a jam that he's got going on, and I'm kind of there for it. I'm like that kind of madness. Yeah, we were saying like USA, what they've learned from world cricket is that you need to steal players if yours aren't very good. What Canada have learned is that you need to be as dysfunctional as possible to get on in the sport, and they're not wrong, are they? Like they're not wrong. They're operating on a different scale, but it's the same level of incompetence. Players to look out for, Ross. I think you'll like this guy, Aaron Johnson. From a batting point of view, this guy averages 50. Strike rate of 166 in international T20s. Opens up.
Boom or bust, I like
it. He hit a big 100 in the qualifying rounds, which basically gave them the net run rate boost that they needed to edge out Bermuda. Their captain as well, Saad bin Zafar. He's an all-rounder. He bats in the middle order, bowls a bit of slow left arm. Probably their other match winner. And then finally, Kaleem Sana. So he was the guy who basically bowled out Bermuda. Took 3 wickets for 4 runs in that game.
You happy with that?
Yeah, in 3.5 overs. Like that's in like the biggest game in Canadian cricket. Well, in his lifetime, probably in Canadian cricket. Another interesting thing that they've done is drop the team vice captain. Now, there's a great nominative determinism here. Harsh Thacker has been harshly dropped on the eve of the tournament. There are question marks about whether he was injured or not. He says, "I'm not injured. I could have played at least 2 of the matches." Canada dropped him before.
So he was definitely a bit injured then.
So he was a bit injured. There was a fitness test that was supposed to take place yesterday. Canada decided to drop him before the fitness test took place, just announced that he wasn't going to be in the squad. He says he's tried to contact the Canadian administrators. No one's picking up the phone or talking to him. They're too busy arguing about the coach.
This is mini Pakistan. It is mini Pakistan, isn't it? This is brilliant. Well, another lottery team in the World Cup.
When they play each other, it's going to be fireworks.
It's great. I mean, like the other great thing is their captain defected to the USA. Like that's a grudge match and a half. Nitish Kumar, he's going to be lining up for USA.
Jump before you're pushed.
I mean, their captain played for Canada for 9 years. In 2019, he was just like, "No, I'm going to jack it in just in time to defect to the USA and walk out under the Star-Spangled Banner on the Sunday." I think it's unlikely that Canada are going to win the World Cup. Realistically here, I think genuinely their only chance of maybe even being competitive, from what I gather, is against the USA. And I expect the USA to probably be able to beat them comfortably. So, here's what I learned. Don't hire and refire your coach a week before the tournament. The players all hate him, by the way. Like it wasn't completely baseless firing. Apparently there was an anonymous letter that was circulated around Canadian cricket about how much all the players hate him. But that's what happens.
It really is excellent.
Don't hire a coach that the players hate. Don't fire the coach a week before the tournament. Don't drop your vice captain and probably your second best batter. Even if he can play half the games, that guy's going to be useful. It's already an uphill task, Canada. I don't know why you've done that. What food are they, or what fast food are they? I think you have to go with poutine, don't you, for Canada? Like, it's a mess. Poutine is a mess. Canada are a mess. It works perfectly. Should we wrap up part 1?
Absolutely.